People across this great country are celebrating the 200th birthday of the United States, and folks like you and me all over Alabama have plenty to celebrate. We Alabamians are a proud people, proud to be Americans and proud to be Alabamians. It is a pleasure for me to introduce this dramatic presentation. Sometimes we think that Alabama is limited to the present and maybe the future, but it took a lot of growing stages to get us where we are today. We still have some history to make. The scenes in this show will give you a real feeling for Alabama, its places of beauty and history. I believe it will make you want to get out and see the historic excitement that is all around us. Every historic place reminds us of the people who made it important. People of Alabama. You and I are making Alabama's history today. We are Alabama, just as the trees, rocks, and water are Alabama. What we do together. How you coming, Alabama?
I remember the morning my father died. We stood upon this mountain. It was cold. The trees and wind made sad, mournful sounds. The rock was hard and cold beneath my moccasins. My father said it was his time to go beyond the horizon where the sun rises, and it was to be my responsibility to walk the green valleys and hunt and fish in the streams and take care of my people. My name would be Aurora, meaning young Indian warrior of many visions. As my father sat upon the cold rock to await his God, he said, "Your land, this land, will be called Alabama." I leaned down, whispered goodbye, and began my journey.
Tell me how you're coming. You know I've been thinking about you daily. I am part of you, and you are part of me. And what we'll be together. You and me, we know we're Alabama.
The sun had risen as I reached the bottom of the mountain. The valley was green. I knelt beside the clear stream and let the cool water run through my hands, touching them to my face and lips. And the water renewed me. I went to the cave my father had called the Cavern of the Gods. I prayed for good hunting and warmth and many new visions to help me lead my people. Prayers were answered. The rich, black Alabama earth brought forth great bounty. Our craftsmen made weapons for hunting wild game and tools for building. Like the Mayan and Aztec tribes of Mexico, we built great mounds of earth. And upon these mounds, we built our houses. The houses were made of logs and poles and reeds, sand and clay. They kept us warm and brought us great joy. Our artists made beautiful bowls and urns, and we worshipped our gods, the sun and the moon. Then one season, as the green of the valley became red and gold and the air cooled, a lone bird flew across the fall blue sky and hovered in front of the sun. Then I knew it was time for tribes to leave the mounds. And as the seasons passed, new tribes were in harmony with the land and one another. And a different omen appeared on the horizon. This time, the lone bird arced gently across the sky to where the water meets the clouds. And I knew that we were to meet new men from other lands. They arrived in summer, a great army of men and horses. They were led by a warrior named De Soto from a faraway land called Spain. In his search for gold and treasures, he killed many of us and left young children without fathers. Other settlers who came to our land were not like that. The French brought gentleness. The Scotch, English, and Dutch brought thrift and vigor. They married into our tribes, and their children became leaders in both worlds. But soon greed became more important than sharing, and war was once again with us. The call of Creek, Choctaw, and Chickasaw became a battle cry to proud men on both sides. At Horseshoe Bend, the blood ran thick and cold. Musket shots rang like bells tolling the end of a time. The bird flew no more to the sun or the horizon, but rather the red sun of death wept down upon the good earth, signaling the beginning of a new era. The great Indian fires were extinguished. We were no longer a power. The conquerors scattered our people to the west, and I found a different Alabama. My path led to new growth. The white bolls of cotton grew out of the ancestral ground and gave rise to great wealth. Even today, the villages which marked the beginning of those times still exist. Tree-lined streets and quiet memories reflected in the faces of people born of work and good labor, a proud heritage from the good earth. One village, however, is now just a memory, Cahaba, Alabama's first permanent capital. Only quiet green hills tracing the river and sad, lonely tombstones are left to mark the spot. You should walk those empty fields and silent streets. Your ancestors' spirits still fill the heart with much memory of good times and bad times, of great floods and sickness which ended Cahaba. One of your forefathers, our second governor, Thomas Bibb, lived in Cahaba and later built a great mansion in another place called Belmina. The cotton grew and the plantations multiplied. Men became rich and powerful and built other fine homes, great columns and verandas. If you listen closely as you walk the trail of these homes, you can still hear the laughter of parties, the happiness of good harvests, and far, far away, the singing of men working in the fields. Then one day the singing stopped. The fields of cotton became a road to war. The right of some men to own others as slaves set brother against brother, and the Confederacy was born. Jefferson Davis, the president of the Confederacy, was sworn in on the steps of the state capitol at Montgomery. The thunder of horses' hooves, the thud of cannonball, the cold clanging chill of sabers crashing, the pride and sacrifice, the tragedy and the glory of the Civil War. I was sad. I wept as Alabama wept. Do not think lightly of those days. They're a part of you. And as you stand on the battlefield and place your fingers into the cracks of cannonball holes, close your eyes and know you are standing on sacred ground. When you hear the name of Jeff Davis, or General Joe Wheeler, the cavalry officer who fought in over 200 battles, and many, many others whose names are only echoed on the wind, be proud. Not all men die in vain, and great good can come from sacrifice. As the winds of peace blew once again into the valleys, we rebuilt our homes and beat our sabers and muskets into plowshares and the molten steel of industry. Monuments were erected. Even the lowly boll weevil deserved recognition for forcing men to grow more than cotton. Other monuments were built where people would work and study. Booker T. Washington built a university to lift the veil of darkness and ignorance from the minds of his people. George Washington Carver discovered more than 100 ways to use the peanut and the sweet potato, plastics, lubricants, ink, even tapioca and molasses. Each of us is blessed with a gift of life. Some have life, but are not blessed with the sight to see it, ears to hear its music, or its voices. Helen Keller was such a person. Quietly walk with me through her home in Tuscumbia. Touch the very things that she touched. See the braille pages of her books, and the watch that told only her fingers the time. Look far beyond to a world made richer and brighter by a woman who never saw the light of the sun, but feeling its warmth, gave all of us the warmth of her love for mankind. And other Alabamians gave us music.
Alabama, we had what was called a dummy that ran from Bessemer to Birmingham, and the dummy song went like this. I got on the dummy, didn't have no fare, sweet thing. Got on the dummy, didn't have no fare, baby. I got on the dummy, didn't have no fare. The conductor asked me what you do there this morning. Goodbye, honey, if you can.
Then I walked upon the deck of a great ship.
Tell me how you're coming. You know I've been thinking about you daily. I am part of you, and you are part of me. And what we'll be together. You and me, we know we're Alabama.
The USS Alabama cut the blue waters in slices of white and green and took men to faraway oceans. They became warriors of another, newer age and fought battles, won wars, and I knew I was growing older, and the mountain of my father was closer. I saw a path leading into space, a path which I could never walk, but Alabama would walk beyond the stars to lands unmarked by man. Space. Alabama would help conquer disease. Men would labor in a great medical center, bringing light to children and hope for the aged and relief for the ill. Scientists would harness the power of the atom and Alabama would become a capital of progress, linking men and science in a chain of new visions which will liberate us from the fear of the unknown. And as I walk silently down these streets, the thoroughfares of a new dawn, my steps are drawn back to the mountain, to the cold rock where first my father took me. Now my moccasins are worn. I'm tired. It's your turn, your time to find, to build, to know Alabama. So go, seek new horizons, look into your history and be proud. I have passed my time, and the future belongs to you, for you are Alabama.
This program is a joint project of the Governor's Office, Liberty National Life Insurance Company, and the Alabama Bicentennial Commission.